going to talk legal legislation with two attorneys in the House. Democratic Representative Tanya Miller of Atlanta. She is House Minority Caucus Chairman. Her committee assignments include rules, ethics, and code revision. Also joining the show is Democratic Representative Esther Panitch of Sandy Springs. Her committees are Judiciary Non-Civil, Judiciary Juvenile, and Public Safety and Homeland Security. Welcome to Lawmakers' session for both of you. I appreciate this. Got a lot to get through, and we're going to start with you. You have the Ponzi Scheme Protection Act.
Yes.
HB 1521. Is the interest related to what happened in Noonan at First Liberty?
It absolutely is. We all sort of watched with horror as this $140 million Ponzi scheme unfolded. Ponzi schemes are by design very difficult to detect. That's why so much damage can be done so quickly. This bill would make it easier for state regulators to detect Ponzi schemes by treating these IOUs or loans as securities, so they no longer exist in the gray area between where we regulate banks and where we regulate investments.
And where is that bill now?
Well, that bill now is still sitting. It's in the hopper to sign to committee, unfortunately, but it is in the atmosphere, and I'm hoping that someone takes it up next session.
I'm sure people are going to start looking at it. Representative Panitch, you want to create a family justice center, so tell us about HB 1283.
Well, I was approached by executive district attorneys who deal with domestic violence, sexual assault, child trafficking, and they were telling me about this Family Justice Center, which we have 3 of in the state, but they were put together piecemeal: Waycross, Macon, and in Cobb. So they needed a structure, and so this bill provides a structure, and it would allow resources that victims need, survivors need, to be co-located in the same place. Because anytime you create a barrier for an abuse survivor to get out of that abuse, every barrier, you're less likely to get out. They're less likely to leave the abuse. So to have everything in one place, law enforcement, protective orders, sexual assault exams, as long as you can have all of that there, it saves lives, and it also saves law enforcement lives, because law enforcement deaths, 29% of them are caused in domestic violence situations. So that would reduce that number as well.
And where is that bill?
That bill has passed the House unanimously, and it just passed the Senate committee yesterday. I'm going to rules tomorrow.
Okay. Well, good luck with that. Well, Chairwoman Miller, tell us about 1520, your rental pricing protection bill.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Your first segment talked about how housing is so critical to Georgia's economy. Essentially, what we are finding, yes, we do need to increase stock, but we also need to regulate some of the bad practices of corporate landlords. We know that AI is being used and software are being used to allow landlords in the commercial space to sort of collude on pricing of rent. And of course, as a result of that, that has made rents artificially high. There have been several studies about this. This bill would seek to regulate that area. It would require that AI software not be used to artificially make rents high, and that non-public information about renters not be shared among landlords. A fair, free market, competition in the rental market keeps rents low, because landlords have to compete for your business. If they can all agree to keep rents artificially high, it makes it bad for all of our
And they've been using algorithms and all kinds of software
to
do that.
Law needs to catch up to that.
All right. We'll keep up with that one. Yeah, you want to protect attorney-client privilege.
Yes.
Talk about that.
This is a bill that passed the House unanimously last year and made it through Senate rules. It just didn't get called up on sine die. So there is no law at this moment preventing lawyers from talking to their clients in jail from being recorded. And then ultimately, these recordings can be used in trial. Well, the attorney-client privilege is so sacrosanct that we need to have a law that protects it, that prevents recording at all. And if there is recording, then there are mechanisms to keep it out of court if in a trial. But it also passed unanimously from the Senate committee this afternoon, and so that's
Right
also
before the
heading
show.
right, and that's also heading to Senate rules tomorrow.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. You also have the Georgia Insurance Consumer Protection Act.
Yes. Well, Donna, you know, I was on your show last session talking about some of the practices of the insurance industry in connection with tort reform, which is what we were debating last session. What we know from our citizens, what we know from ratepayers is that they are facing unaffordable insurance rate increases without justification. The process of deciding what insurance rates are in Georgia largely occurs between the industry and the insurance commissioner. This bill would insert someone in that process to advocate for the consumer. It would also get away or do away with automatic rate increases that are not justified and require more transparency in the rate setting process.
Now, how's that one doing?
That one actually passed committee. It was a bipartisan bill. We had multiple Republican signers on this bill, so it did not quite make it out of rules, but again, it's in the atmosphere now.
And it's an issue a lot of people care about.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to get to one more of yours. You are part of a bipartisan bill, the HB 1379, the Foreign Funding Transparency and Accountability Act, and we don't have a whole lot of time.
Okay, so that came about because there are reports coming out from the Foundation for Defense of Democracy showing that Qatari money has been flowing into Georgia public schools, college and Fulton Charter School. So parents have a right to know in public schools where their funding is coming from and who could be influencing our students. Some of these programs include teacher training, and then the teacher comes back and then praises a suicide bomber, or they praise Yahya Sinwar. We would never allow money in from a foreign country that praised Osama bin Laden, so this should be no different. This doesn't ban any foreign funding. This just requires disclosure of it. So parents who have no choice where to send their child in a district have a right to see and know who's trying to influence their children.
And that's moved along too, hasn't it? That
yes,
bill? Yeah.
yes. That is actually waiting for the governor's signature.
Okay. Well, sorry we had to go through this so fast, but thank you both for being here and thank you for your bills.